Welcome to the Wormhole. This is a 2-week event kicked off with this video. We're going to be dropping releases, news, surprises, and secrets, and we will end with a big AMA. I'm your host, Lacey J, and I will literally be holding this whole thing together.
I mean, where would we be without her?
Yeah, exactly. So throughout the show, I'll be throwing it over to the couches, featuring a revolving cast of O-Neb crew using whip cut technology that works like this.
Hello, we are on the couches.
Tell the people something from the couches.
Well, give us something to tell them about then, oh hostess mostess.
All right, okay, I see where you're going here. How about we just bring something in from the wormhole?
Yay! So as always, starting this time, the first thing to come out of the wormhole is this event's collectible patch.
That's right, every wormhole there's going to be a new patch that drops. And what's great is that you'll receive one for free with every purchase during the event while supplies last.
And if you miss any of the previous patches, we can make those available probably, but only while the wormhole's open.
Cool.
You have to swipe now.
Oh.
Whip it. Thank you. Great job, couches. So, recap. Over this kickoff video, we are going to discover what other reveals the wormhole has for us, all of which are available on orangenebula.com. Some wormhole items, like the patches, might only be available during the 2-week window the wormhole is open. Once all the wormhole wonders have been revealed, we'll close out today with the traditional AMA livestream hangout. All right, let's get right into it and see what's going to come out of the wormhole next.
So we are introducing the Maelstrom to the world of Vindication. And what this is a dynamic, lightweight set of cards, tiles, and tokens that represent the Maelstrom, which is this churning ball of energy at the center of the island.
And what's awesome about this pack is that you're able to activate your character and deepen your Maelstrom attunement. And then when you go and visit the region, you study it and gain understanding.
Yeah, and you use either the attunement that you gain or the understanding that you gain to trigger different Maelstrom aberrations, which is basically a set of abilities that flip through like a book, and every time the Maelstrom is interacted with, it shifts whatever power is available to the community.
Right, and what's awesome is that this pack adds a ton of variable community-crafted abilities, but don't require that much setup.
Yeah, it's super lightweight. You can add it into any configuration of Vindication, which I think is really cool. The playtesters really enjoyed it, and we think you're going to like it too. Back over to Lacey.
Well, actually, this section is not coming from the wormhole, it's just news, so...
Thank you, Lacey. So Vestige, just news basically, and I guess sort of a post-mortem now that everything is at print. All we can really say is that it is at print. I don't know what the progress is on that. But news aside, you know, what was your sort of like takeaway at the end of the like play testing experience with Vestige? Like,
Absolutely.
you know, if we're going to talk about Vestige,
Yeah.
what would you bring?
So I think that one of the biggest standouts for me towards the end of playtesting, while looking at all of the playtesters' feedback, was seeing everyone note how much they were impacted by the simple strength of the mechanical architecture that stands at the heart of both Vestige and Vindication. How it felt faithful to the old system, but also felt streamlined and fun and thematic, Additionally, something that I thought was really interesting that stood out was how the new and different types of game modes that we introduced provided really novel and unique gaming experiences for the playtesters that they hadn't had before when just playing Vindication.
Different from other Vindication experiences, or just different in general? Like, what was
different from the core Vindication experience, adding elements onto it that allow for different kinds of player interaction, for example, like in the co-op modes.
cool?
Tom, as everything got passed back to you and you were tunneling deep in your editing cave, what was that experience like for you, and do you have any takeaways from it?
I mean, my big takeaway from Vestige is just kind of how clean it is as a design. I've been now at this point, you could say I've been a full-time game designer for going on a decade, and it's really satisfying to see how sort of clean and professional Vestige is. It kind of feels like sort of the next phase from us being, fun indie studio that's all buggy, to like, no, here's more of a like polished, finished, really clean thing. I feel like we did a much better job on this one saying no to things than we have in the past. So my big joy in my final cleanup pass was how little cleanup was necessary and how clean it already was, and just sort of boiled down to core parts. But then the other thing that really stood out to me was how the Nemesis system kind of lets us have that crazy sort of like indie game studio, wild sandbox idea energy in this game that is otherwise very cleanly done. Mm-hmm. And not that the Nemesis aren't, but go with me for a second here.
Right.
One of the things that we find ourselves asking a lot when we're working on these games is like, where does the community live on this game? Mm-hmm. What is going to be the self-starting thing that the community is doing after the game is out to keep the game alive and to let the game have a community other than like you play with your 3 friends in your gaming group. Mm-hmm. And what's really cool about the Nemesis system, which if you don't know, Nemesis are these sort of standalone sort of like AI, AI in the old sense, old
NPC,
old board game
kinda
sense. They're non-player characters that are like a deck and mechanics that play themselves in the game. And they're designed to be really different and weird, and playing with them really changes the challenge of the experience. And so what we're finding is this joy that we have for the potential of the Nemesis system, and I think that's where a lot of the longevity of the game is going to come from. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like what brings us to the vision that we have for this, and what we would like from you guys when you get the game. Mm-hmm. Is pay attention to the Nemesis system when you're playing it, see the potential in it, see how you could do things 5 times better than what we did, and let's do that. Like, let's make a whole bunch of this, community of Nemesis ideas, and like see how far we can push this really clean design into crazy territory with all your ideas. That's the part of Vestige that I'm kind of most excited about right now.
Yeah, you're getting me amped for it. I mean, please pour the ideas. Yes, thank you.
And that's where we are with Vestige. It is at print. It's coming soon. You have homework by helping us make the Nemesis system be the really cool community. Sort of the vision for it is, and this might sound silly at first, but imagine like a modding community for something like a Skyrim or something like that, where there's really like, yeah, we made a game, but you guys ran with it. And that's really what we're hoping for from Vestige when it hits your table.
Let's see what the Wormhole has next.
Welcome to the couch.
Thank you. It's comfier over here than it is over there, if I'm honest.
It is, but over there you have whatever aura.
I have ultimate power,
Yeah,
which is nice.
which
Here,
you-
I just have the
you
power
go
to
for.
interview you. So tell me about Planet 12, about Luna.
Planet 12 is in keeping with tradition, occasional tradition, not a planet. Planet 12 is more of a like, it's like a Honey, I Shrunk the Inner Space Fantastic School Bus Voyage
Yeah.
thing where we all go inside Luna.
Of course.
And Luna is the planet. Planet.
Who designed this planet?
This is a Reed and AJ original.
Okay.
I don't remember where the original idea of going inside Luna came from. I think it was Reed. For a long time, the planet was called Repair, but like Re was in quotes, and it was like Repair, and it was all very cute and fun. But now it's just called Luna because.
What are, not to cut you off or anything. I think
Yeah,
this is my
that's never
power.
happened.
What are some of the unique mechanics?
This is a cool one. It has a couple mechanical things going on other than the conceit of you're inside Luna. But being in there, just the nature of being in that type of environment changes some of the things. So movement doesn't work in the traditional sense. In some of the scenarios, you're not even technically like physical people. You are data inside her main. Each
So
of the
cool.
scenarios has a different way that you are inside Luna. And I'm going to say that weird every time just so that people can deal with my awkwardness. But so movement in there is a little different. There you move inside Luna through these different energy streams that she has in her, and that functions a lot like almost like a like old pipe lane game,
yes.
and where you get to go through these long threads. If
I remember
you get
seeing
that
all
right.
the sketches for that. Really
Yeah,
cool.
it's an old sort of mechanic that happens to work very well in this context, and it's helpful that everyone's sort of familiar with it, so it kind of just. And then the other sort of like mechanic that I would point out is that because Luna, you're inside of her, like she can't function the way she normally does in the game. So she is represented by this row of tiles that makes basically like a programming line in a computer. And those different tiles go off each round or each turn, and is all these different things that Luna does, and you get to control the orders of the order of the tiles, just like a computer program. They can glitch, and now they're doing a bad thing instead of helping you. So you're messing with her programming and moving around her in her energy streams. But that's all just sort of the more hard mechanical part
What's
of it.
the heart of it?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's the question. So then when we really, Reed and AJ were exploring all these things, and the conversation we kept having was, okay, but we're inside Luna.
Who's helped us
Like-
in every situation
Right.
we've ever had.
Here we are
She's
saving our
everything to us.
savior, right? And how can we use this opportunity to do something, like the dog in the movie is in danger, right? Like how do you lean into the emotional aspect of that? So most of the stories, most of the scenarios lean into some sort of new secret understanding of what's going on with Luna that we don't understand up until this point. What sort of emotional programming thing is happening inside her. I don't want, this one has the potential for spoilers.
Okay.
But we get into some emotional Luna stuff in this one.
There's a lot of depth. That's going to be cool to explore.
Yeah, we know that people like Luna, and we really just like to take advantage of your emotions and wring you dry.
Awesome. Well, I think we better bring Malia on for the next section.
Yeah, how do we do that? Because you're here, and
Oh, it's easy. It's a double whip. Okay.
okay,
you ready?
same time whip.
3, 2, 1. So listen, the next item that's coming from the wormhole, there's no video for it. We didn't need it, but we did need time to move everybody on the couches. So it's my job to sit here until everybody's ready to talk about the next item.
Welcome to the Unsettled News bit.
Thank you.
What is the news?
The newsy news is Planet 7, 8, and 9. So Kogia, Blackout, and Nier are all available on Tabletop Simulator now. So
Yeah, they are.
They're really exciting.
Or real close. I haven't checked. Tabletop Simulator, if you don't know, is it's a physics engine on the computer where you can play board games with people online. We use it a lot for playtesting and prototyping and build most of our Unsettled stuff. on there, and we use it a lot in that capacity.
Yeah, so it's kind of a big shout out to Reed and AJ, and then Ken at Coated Cardboard.
Yes,
they put a lot of hours into prepping those.
Yeah, into prepping them for playtesting and prototyping, but then also those three guys are responsible for saying, like, hey, we should just take this to the final finished product so that, you know, the community can we're close to having it there.
Yeah. And they kind of take a lot of initiative to make that stuff happen.
Yeah,
we don't really ask them.
There's so much stuff that exists in the Orange Nebula world that would not, if not for, like, I mean, Reed and AJ definitely just doing things and showing up and saying, I have this skill set, I would like to contribute it to what's going on, and making things possible that otherwise wouldn't be possible. And actually that, like, is a very cool takeaway from this, that, you know, if you have some sort of skill or passion or thing that you think that we need to be doing, but that you would like to help with, like, there is room for that and need for it, and you never know what your skill set that we don't have might make possible. We would not be on Tabletop Simulator right now if not for Ken and AJ and Reed knowing how to do things that we don't.
Yeah.
And then telling us and saying, hey, can we help? And
some stuff I feel like when I talk to them, they have learned because they are passionate
they've learned
about
to do
stuff.
this.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know, don't feel like you can't get involved if you want to get involved, because it is definitely part of what this community is.
How do we get out of here?
Swipe. We need to swipe.
Ah.
No, okay.
I can-
will. Okay, so, okay, you go.
Well, let's see what the wormhole has next. Nobody's here right now. They're actually in the other room talking about Spirit Fire. So let's see if I can just send you over there. I'm going to try something a little bit different.
Well, hi and welcome to this completely other side of the office and the world that Lacey somehow threw you to, through space and time. We thought that it would be fun for this segment to just kind of bring you behind the scenes into our space and just show you the things that we're most excited about that have evolved on Spirit Fire since the campaign. So you've got me, you've got Mark, you've got Eric. We are the three principal designers on the game. So the first thing we want to talk about is an adjustment that we have made basically just to our own thinking regarding the map. So the way the map works is you have these two trays that are full of these different location cards that you move around on, and those cards can change as things in the world change, and there are all sorts of things that we can do to gate stuff, and you'll see these little symbols here. These are the locations you're moving on. Each of these represents sort of a type of environment where different types of encounters might happen. So on this hypothetical map we've drawn, you know, maybe these diamond shapes are the deep dark forests that are full of big bad things. But then you do something in the game that changes the forest from deep dark to, you know, undeep, not dark. And now this is a different symbol that is full of nice things because you've dealt with the bad things. That was all kind of where it stood before. It's very top down, it's a map. One of the things that we had in the original design was this section off to the side where we could basically have like an additional map. So if you go into this location, now this is the underground map and you are now down in the caves. And the thing that we have done here basically that's of note that would be exciting for you is basically just giving ourselves permission to do whatever the heck we want with this. And part of what's made that possible is determining that we're calling them zoom maps internally. The original idea was, okay, this section over here is going to be where those happen, and it's very segregated. But what we found is if we put a different color border on those specific map cards that is associated with these locations, then you're like, oh, okay, red, this is the zoom in of this. And doing that simple, tiny little graphic design thing suddenly made it make so much more sense to really open this up. So now we're talking about realms where, the top-down map is just the strip along the top, and everything underneath are all these different locations that you can visit. What are some things you guys are excited about what we've done to the maps?
Well, what this does for me is it allows you to go deep into the environment. So it's not just a top-down, I'm in this region, I'm in this region. It lets you go down like into a cave or into a city or into a marketplace, but then you also are adding cards to change permanently that landscape. So your decisions might say, okay, well, there's this monument now that exists because I did this thing in this realm, and it permanently changes the landscape. And so you have this top-down, it's kind of like a world map, but now you can actually zoom into the cities or villages or terrains.
Yeah,
to me, that's exciting.
I love it from a world building perspective from that. Like, one of the things that was really difficult before was it's just a top-down map. Like, there's only so much you can show about an environment with a top-down map. And so we were finding ourselves in this situation where it's like, okay, they've gone in the cave. Well, the only other place in the game where you get to see art of environment is theoretically on quest cards. So now we have to contrive quests to show the things that we want people to see. And this really lets us know, like, we can actually show what it looks like in these places. It gives us another place to put art for world building, which I think is really cool.
It's really good for immersing in the game.
It's very immersive.
Well, one final thought on that's really cool is, let's just say this is your magic treehouse or my magic treehouse, and I have unlocked an NPC on my own tableau that lives in this magic treehouse that you don't have too. So now I can go, every time I'm in the treehouse, I don't know why it's a treehouse, every time I'm in the treehouse, I can approach this NPC and perform some type of a task for them or pay them some type of currency in the game and get something. And if you're with me, you get that benefit as well. So it lets you go deeper and deeper into the world.
Totally. Circling back to the start, what we're presenting here, and I probably should have said this from the top, is what we're most excited about from the mechanical aspect of finishing the mechanical design of the game. What we're working on now that this is all done is all the story and narrative and world building and realms and quests and all of that stuff. So this presentation today is literally just talking about the mechanics that we're excited about. And then on a future presentation, we'll get into sharing some of the story and narrative and stuff that we're doing right now that if that's more of your focus, if the discovery of story and world is the thing that's drawing you to that game, that's what we're really in the weeds on, in the arena on right now working on. And so that's coming up next. So this is a very technical chat. Another evolution that has happened is we have readjusted the way that the capacity works. And the capacity, for those who don't remember, is the space where you play your discipline cards. During the campaign, the capacity existed in sort of two columns. And what we were finding is we kept trying to design some sort of spatial puzzle between the two columns, and that was really an aspect of the card play that we just kept trying to make work, and it kept being convoluted and not working, and so we stripped it for a while, but that was haunting us because it felt like it was supposed to be there. And then one day we moved it to a horizontal capacity and oh my gosh, now all of a sudden everything works, and it gets to be more interesting with less cards, which we are so glad that worked. So this basically is just a giant win, all in all, about how less cards horizontally works better than more cards vertically. So just quick sort of recap of how this works. These are the 5 card slots of your capacity that you can play your disciplines into. When you play them there, you will trigger one of these resolve actions, which is, move, draw a card, that type of thing. And then each of these cards might have a bonus that goes off if you meet some criteria, like, oh, there are 2 blue cards already in the capacity. Random example, right? What we have found with less cards in this spatial relationship is now we can get into some really interesting things where we care about colors linking together. We care about which slot the thing plays into. There's so many different simple little things that we can manipulate and multiply in this arrangement that is just basically infinitely interesting from a design perspective, but so much easier to understand as a player because it's so fewer cards and really clear spatially.
Yeah, you're not having to stack them on each other, so you're seeing the whole card
That
all
part
the
is
time.
huge. Yeah, way less fiddly. If you'll remember, one of the resolve actions that you had during the campaign was an action called Clear, and it was on some of the cards. And what Clear did was move cards out of your capacity to make room for more. And that's kind of a part of the cycle of the game, is pulling cards out to put new cards in. But it was very like just upkeep. There was nothing fun other than, oh, I've made space for more fun. So this is probably the thing we're talking about today that I'm most excited about, is we scratched the word clear and turned it into this concept of burn, and which is obviously more on theme. But the way that it works is now your conduit, which is, you know, a character or an item or something in the world that you are connected to or attuned with, your conduit defines a burn effect that happens when you clear your cards. So now clearing cards becomes part of the like mechanical game loop in your strategy. So now instead of like, oh, I have to clear these cards, now it's okay, when I clear my cards, because I have, you know, Spook the Squirrel, like Spook the Squirrel means every time I clear a card, I, you know, get to move or whatever, right? And so then you now have this fresh new tension of like, man, I could clear this because then it lets me draw, but I want it there because it's a blue card that's going to like magnify this one I'm about to play. And so burning the cards away becomes part of the engine instead of an upkeep. And oh my gosh, did everything feel better and more interesting when we made that change.
There's a ton you can do with it too. So every time you rest, you get to swap out your conduit, but also you can have different effects on this conduit. You can place blocks on this conduit, or you can have multiple different things based on the scenario that you're in. And so I guess all I'm saying is you can gamify even your burn abilities based on what's happening in the moment. And so there's a lot of strategy going to like, okay, for the next X amount of time, I'm going to be trying to accomplish this task or complete this quest or whatever. So I'm going to use this burn ability or this set of burn abilities with my deck build to help me accomplish that. And then after I'm done with that, I'm going to be like meeting up with Tom and we're going to take on this totally different challenge. And so I'm going to swap out that conduit for something that helps both of us differently.
It really leans into what we keep wanting, which is for builds to be a thing. So that is burn. I think the last thing that we have come up with that we're excited about is the opening of character packs. So in the game, your character box is going to come with a bunch of these character packs. More will be available. This is the principal way where you gain cards specifically for your deck and your stuff, other than the personal quests, which we'll talk about in the more narrative update next time. The character packs largely are kind of a mystery to you. So you will complete a quest or do something where you have now earned the right to open a character pack. There's a little more nuance to that, but we'll just skip that because what we're focusing on right now is how actually opening one of these packs works. So this is a spread in the book. If you don't remember, a lot of this game takes place in this spiral-bound book. So you open a character pack, you go to this spread, and then basically you need to decide where you're going to put each of these cards in this spread to basically process the opening of that pack. And each of these slots that you put it in is going to trigger some sort of effect. So these have a V written over them, just as an example of void slots. So I've opened this character pack. It has, 8 cards I've never seen before. These are places I can put them where that card's going to get voided and I'm going to lose access to it forever. But in this slot, I get to remove a burden. Or in this slot, I get to, gain 5 flicker lines on my flicker pad or whatever it is. And so you're going to look at your pack of cards, and then there's this immediate sort of like draft placement thing where you're like, okay, I'm going to convert this one to experience. I'm going to convert this one to automatically unlocking something I care about more. Only one card per pack can be put in the instant unlock. I'm definitely putting this one there. And it turns each of the unlocks into sort of each of the pack openings into kind of this mini game. And part of what we're hoping it does is take it so that opening the pack and getting things that don't fit what you're doing or that you don't care about, and they're not just dead cards, you can basically like grind them into whatever you need them to be.
Yeah, one of the things I love about the character packs is that when you're prompted to open a character pack, you don't know what's inside, and you just open the one with the word on it that most intuitively speaks to you in the moment. What is my character feeling right now? So it's much more on the introspective part. You open that pack, you have no idea what's inside it, and now you have this, it's a little bit like going to town with your gold. You get to decide how you're going to respond to what has just happened to you and how you're processing that and where you want to put your energy and what you want to learn. And so like Tom says, there's this game that you get to play. Maybe you want to convert something into something better. So you're going to get rid of this thing to unlock something better or whatnot. But there's this part of it for me that is very immersive into how my character is developing that goes beyond I got +1. Now it's no, I just unlocked the ability to do something I didn't know how to do before. Or I'm actually giving up, or no longer, I'm resolved to not do this thing anymore, but I'm going to do this instead. So you get to like change
Something
your
we've never
character
talked
shifts.
about is if each of these 4 things was named something really thematic, like, you know, this is the action you're taking when you put this here. Like, we would have to work out the theming of it, but like to take this into more of a like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, and by this I mean like psychosocial emotional things, like I am focusing or repressing or unlocking. These are dumb words, but you understand what I mean. Like to give basically each of these is a personal action.
Yes.
So that each time you place one of the cards, you associate it with something about your character's story.
Yes.
And then also you get to feel weird about like, repress.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
I'm choosing to keep the burden, right? So I can do this other thing. The thing that blows my mind, though, that I think where this really took form for me, is now in the story, on the map, through a quest, I unlock this NPC character who is now my guru or my mentor. And now I have just unlocked another spread for how I can process and reflect on everything I've learned in the future. So now I have access to do 2 different spreads, because now it's like, mentor, teach me, or whatever it might be. Maybe it's a monument or a place of magical power that like now you get to unlock differently.
Or, so for whatever reason, you now have access to, you know, the blue unlock spread, whatever it is, you know, spread B, spread C.
The arcane one.
You know, you may have access to the arcane spread because you have XYZ NPC. I might have access to it because my treehouse is cooler than yours. Like, but either way, we now have access to this other page, and
or
lots of story can unfold that.
Maybe I don't have access.
Yeah,
to
you have access to
because I have a
page
different.
C.
My story's
Yeah.
different than yours.
Yeah.
So it's just another thing where I feel like you have the option as the player to direct your character and really customize it beyond stats. And it just feels like more like, this is what I learned in this moment. So it's very introspective.
Well, and also, like, we love opening packs. Like, how many times did we say in the designing of this game, and I think we said it in videos and stuff, we want this to be pack opening the game. Like, cracking packs rocks. It's fun. Let's extend that. Like, you crack the pack, now what? Do stuff with it. Make it like the fun continues. So this has been a very, very exciting development. And figuring out how this works with the stories has been really interesting. You know, so if there's one slot that you can, you know, every time you unpack, you know, you can use this slot where you auto gain this card once each time you open a pack. But maybe you just completed a personal quest that's like, haha, this time, you know, open a character pack and you can use that slot 3 times because there's some crazy hard quest, and now you can get 3. And so and that's kind of what makes us so excited about where the game is right now, is everything is sort of in this simplified version. You know, simplified, this is still a complex game, but everything has been simplified enough in its basic functionality that when it gives us room for the cards to introduce interesting things without that being just 3 bridges too far. And yeah.
No, I was just going to say that the choices matter. This has been like an engineering kind of behind the curtain mechanical view of the things that we accomplished that we're most proud of, but they all serve the greater purpose of making you feel like your character is on a real story adventure, and you are the story.
Well, and some of it has been because we are planning the format of this to be this ongoing game with ongoing open world realms that you can buy. Like, this doesn't just have to work now, this has to work in the future for all the ideas that we have. So a lot of what we've been doing is, you know, we're talking about maps, and it's like, great, this works. And then someone's like, well, what about my map that's all islands that I want you to be able to go around? We had you know, that was gonna work before, and now it doesn't. We're like, huh. And so, like, everything we're doing here has to work in perpetuity moving forward with all these new expansion ideas. And obviously, every game is like that, but this one is like that to an intense degree, where getting all this mechanical stuff right before we start doing all the world building, like finishing the world building in the story, took so much longer than normal just because the future is so much bigger than normal. And it was a lot, but we're there. And so yeah, so this is just, we thought this would be fun. We thought it'd be fun for you to see this area. Normally the whiteboard is over here, but that, you know, harder for shooting. So here we are. But yeah, obviously we've been up to a lot more. Don't be freaked out by the fact that this is on the whiteboard. We just thought it would be fun to bring you into the whiteboard space. Obviously, it's also made on computers. Maybe we'll throw some things on screen.
Stuff is designed too, we have to, yeah.
But we like the whiteboard. To us, this is what the game looks like even when it comes out. To me, Unsettled doesn't look like Unsettled. To me, Unsettled looks like this. And so this is how design lives in my head, at least. So it's fun to show it on the whiteboard. But anyways, back to you, Lacey.
And next we're going to be talking... hi, I thought it might be fun to mix things up a little bit and share the MC throne.
Let's see what the Wormhole has next. Okay, I'm so excited to hear some more about this and tell people more about this. So, Misunderstood, what is this whole series about?
Yeah, so Misunderstood is not associated with any of our games. It's something that came out of a conversation that we had in the conference room on the whiteboard. Krista had done a sketch. Kevin had talked about vectorizing that, and we had this conversation about, well, what if we just explored this concept of not judging things by their cover? You know, like, what if there was something better underneath and we just kind of gave into our curiosity? And what if we started to do something that evoked that? You know, could there be a product that we made? And this is kind of what came out of that and the Misunderstood series. So at some point somebody said, you know, what if Medusa was nice, you know, or something along those lines, and was misunderstood. And we thought, well, we really like that.
Why
and
Medusa first?
that's just what the sketch was. That's just where
It was
Krista
the
started
original
sketching.
sketch.
Yeah, I think so. At least that's the one that kind of grew.
It is beautiful. I really, especially the sticker. I'm like, I keep looking at it and I'm like low-key salivating, and I'm not sure
Jared
if that's
really
normal.
pushed for the holographic
It makes
idea.
it. It really makes it. So why do anything that's not, I mean, this has nothing to do with any of our IPs, none of our games. Why choose to do something so non-game?
Well, we don't really see ourselves as a game company. We see ourselves as a creative company, and we thought maybe there's an audience that really wants to catch on to this idea that there's more to people, there's more to our culture, there's more to gaming, there's more to our entertainment than judging the book by its cover. And I think we all just kind of resonated with that idea. And it just went from there. It doesn't have to be deeper than that, but then we're like, how can we make it cool with like goblins and trolls and, you know, whatever Medusa type of thing, you know, came out of it.
I was gonna say the thing that the way that like I connect to it, and I think that people would connect to it, is I feel like a lot of times nerds feel misunderstood. So in a way, I'm like, I feel like there is like a sense of like belonging that comes with this, of like, you're misunderstood, I'm misunderstood as a person, as is this character, and I connect to
That's
that idea.
A crucial point. Yeah, I do think we landed on the name Misunderstood because there are so many different lenses that you can have for that. You know, different characters and things that we could make over time. And so this is just the beginning of it. And so I think there's a t-shirt and a sticker. There's a really high quality enamel pin too. And yeah, we're just exploring it.
I'm sure we'll talk about it more in the AMA section, but I'm dying to hear everyone else's ideas of what kind of characters could come through the Misunderstood series. Like, I would just love to see entire character profiles from what all of our community is interested in when it comes to what characters are misunderstood.
That's so true. I'm excited.
It's a good point. Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and see what comes from the wormhole next.
Lacey, it doesn't work over here. You
What-
gotta go.
what doesn't?
You
Oh my
I think
God,
you're
the
supposed to be over there.
you have to go over there.
Do you feel that? This one feels different. What's that wormhole? It's big.
We've only got one shot at this, so stay stealthy.
By stealthy, do you mean?
All right, Fuzzy, where's the bard?
I'll die before I rat out the boss.
Die for a Thragon who'd happily gobble the wood out of you? Strange choice, but okay.
All right, I'll talk. Your companion is being held across the high shelves behind the giant door that really says Boss's Chambers. You can't miss.
Was he very slippery? Very. Lots of that going around lately. Hey! Dragonites! Fuzzy set us up! Ugh, I could slippery him all over again. Run. I bet they stashed our captive friend there.
How do we know it isn't another trap?
It's always another trap.
My friends! Hurry! Being captive and maybe eaten is such a bore. I was beginning to think...
I thought you said stay stealthy. I'll do the thoughting around here. You do your druid thing and go save our extravagant companion. Be free, my pompous friend.
With gratitude! A main character is nothing without their supporting cast. I congratulate you on your contribution to my legend. Fate calls for my heroics. Get me down there! Whoa. From this angle, it's not very impressive. Ah, splendid! Now we're in a tale worth telling.
Yes, it's all very exciting. Could use some accompanying music, though.
Ooh, I quite agree.
What are you doing?
Working?
Okay.
So I was thonking that the next thing we should talk about is Thonks. Okay, so obviously Thonks, if you have never heard of them before, are these like wooden slabs, and that's all there is to it, right?
They're collectible display slab, excuse you. It says right here very clearly.
They're a platform for infinite creativity, is what they are.
What are they, Tom?
Okay, well, right now, Thonks are collectible display slabs. They are, I mean, as far as display slabs go, they're very nicely done.
Yes.
What they really are is a fun little opening salvo of this collectible line that we're launching, these Thonks. You know, we started with some of the characters from our games. Now we have questing companions. And then from there, who knows whether it'll be our games, other IPs. The idea for Thonks, though, is that Thonks is less about this specific, you know, fun but silly product, and more Thonks is just going to be this crazy idea space full of like childlike creativity where like this is the jumping off point for whatever we want to do with it. So you're going to see us making comics. You're going to see us making, you know, games that use these pieces.
And hilarious
or
90s
like,
style commercials.
As many as we can get away with.
It's hilarious.
The most extreme, like, you know, words start with X, corn nuts spelled with Z, random ridiculous commercials we can come up with. And but yeah, the vision for these is much broader than you might expect, and there will come a time where I imagine some people will say, oh, I wish I had all of those because now I can use them in this way.
And why this set, Jared? This set that is coming out right now?
So we wanted to take a departure from, like Tom was saying, only our IPs and take a step into the realm of fantasy, the realm of adventuring. A lot of people nowadays are having so much fun exploring different kinds of fantastical worlds with their friends in all sorts of different tabletop role-playing experiences. The particular ones that we chose have some historical value. They are some of the very first that existed in the genre, but these ones in particular happen to be some of the favorites of different members of the staff. And additionally, we tried to provide enough detail on the individual Thonks that they would be evocative and be able to inspire stories of their own, but without being completely prescriptive of what has to be the backstory of each of these characters, so that they can be a platform for creativity when people are playing with them or displaying them.
We do want people to have an experience with them like you saw in the little, you know, ad thing that we just ran. Like, we want you to see them on the shelf and be reminded, like, oh, stop doing spreadsheets for a second and think about rating something.
And think
Like,
about Thonks.
And think about Thonks. Get
And
Thonking.
dragons.
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Thank you all.
Yeah.
All right, see ya. Okay, let's see what the Wormhole has next.
Guys, we made stickers.
Stickers, if
Thonks
you believe it.
Stickers. Not all of them, but from the original Nebula collection, we have a Luna, a Ronak, and a Tuk Tuk sticker.
We do.
They're
And
very
excellent.
cute.
They're very beautiful, and I love them so much.
Also, how do you spell Thonks?
Okay, yeah. So, legally speaking, Thonks is all caps with an exclamation mark at the end. You know, be careful. Don't, you know, we're litigious, and we care about these things very much. And if you care about getting Thonks right, that's how you spell it. Anyways, though, we made stickers. This is a new segment about stickers that exist that you can purchase and use as stickers. What else should we say about stickers?
You can stick them on stuff.
There you go. Here you go, Lacey.
Let's see what the Wormhole has next.
shout out to Teresa Vick for those incredible photos of
Yeah,
this
she kills it every
hoodie.
time. We're really excited about this one. It was kind of a long time coming. This one went through lots of iterations and lots of like design lab screaming and design by committee, and then debates about design by committee, and then emotions. And now we have a really cool hoodie. Mark,
they
what would
turned
you
out awesome, and I think the thing for me is, I really do not like board game merch. I won't wear it. I don't like the stuff out there, and these are actually something that I would wear, you know, on the street and not feel weird about. Oh, you're a board game guy. No, it's just a cool branded hoodie.
Yeah, it was one of the discussions that we got into when we were working on this one is what sort of like got into the almost like generational divide in the office of here's a design and then half the room says, well, I would never wear that. And then here's a different design and the other half of the room says, no, I would never wear that.
The only thing we agreed on was the garment itself without any design on it.
That's true. The blank we all loved.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one was actually, it's we've never had a team this large when we've worked on a piece of apparel that has lots of design elements. So it was really interesting to have those conversations and find a design that everyone was happy with and that felt like Orange Nebula to everyone in the room. And so it was kind of like a real like process of discovery.
It was a big win.
Yeah,
it's a big
absolutely.
win. I like the fact that it's got a zip front. We have all the pullover.
It has
and
two sleeves. It has a hood.
It's just not a pullover.
The thing,
I see.
The thing that I think is really interesting is the logo. The front logo does say Orange Nebula, and you don't notice that at first. And
yeah,
I think
Kevin made like a new rune language for it. Yeah, that's
which
really
I think
cool.
is really unique and different.
And it's probably the softest sweatshirt I've ever had or felt.
Ooh.
It's very, very soft.
It is
more
incredibly
than I
soft,
anticipated, actually. They told me it was soft. and
We've
I'm
been
like,
wearing it for
"But
several
how
weeks now.
soft?"
I just wanted to cut in here real quick. I've got it on right now, and I've been wearing it. And the first time I even wore it to the coffee shop, I started getting compliments, like within the first day that I was wearing it. And I mean, it's so subtle, and yet people just love it. So just want to show that off real quick.
This moment.
So
brought to you by Lacey.
everyone that wears this to the coffee shop will get compliments like Lacey does. Anyways, anything else to say about the design or anything like that, or should we throw it back to Lacey, who's probably in her space by now?
Yeah, let's throw it back.
And now for something completely different. I'm sensing something big. I'm sensing something big coming from the wormhole. How big is it? We'll see. Your deck is more than cards. It deserves more than sleeves. It deserves standards. Curator is a new tournament-grade card sleeve and accessory brand built with fine art pretension and white glove precision. It's not just a product line. It's a carefully assembled exhibition of contempt for mediocrity, designed with museum-level hubris to outperform and to outclass. For those who scoff audibly, and for those who should. Curator. Treat your deck like it belongs under glass.
All right, we have been working on this for years. We are incredibly excited about this. This is, as you can tell, different from everything that we've done before, and that is by design. This is basically a sister brand that we're launching. It is, made by all the same people at Orange Nebula, but it is its own brand, and the reason for that is we are trying to really clearly differentiate what Orange Nebula does from Curator so that people understand how seriously we're taking this. We pretend when you look at Curator that Orange Nebula, the board game company, does not exist. This is a TCG product line by people who know this space and care about it a lot.
Yeah, most of our team has deep background in TCGs. I used to play Magic competitively. Eric did. I know Tom did. People play Pokemon and Lorcana and all these games. And TCGs are huge. And we've made sleeves for our board games in the past and things like that, and we've gotten some constructive criticism on those and how they could be better. And so we've spent the past couple
mostly
years.
Internal.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And yeah. So we spent years kind of how could we make the type of sleeves that we would want to play with. I haven't really ever seen anything in the marketplace that has a printed sleeve, like with artwork on it, that I would actually buy and want to put my decks in. And so we thought, well, maybe it's not just slapping art on. Maybe we can do something with the graphic design. Maybe we could consider how they're fanned out in the hand, what that looks like.
Yeah, it's something that we just sort of like, as a group in the office, everyone, it just kind of kept coming back. We kept coming back to this thing where, we are a group of grown adults. Most people in the building are designers. Everyone here has pretty good taste. And nerds. Exactly. But, nerds with taste. Nerds does not imply taste. It implies often the opposite. And what we consistently have found over the years is, in this space, there is so little available that feels sophisticated from a design perspective. And it feels like that industry, the card game industry, has reached a new sort of level and tier, and the sleeves space is still where it was in '95. And there are exceptions to that, right? Like the Apex sleeves are solid,
right?
But there's nothing going on in the space that we have seen regularly available in all the game stores around the country or the world where well, let's just get into it. So there are several different series that we're coming out with. The first we're calling the Palette series, and why don't you, color theory doctor, describe what we're getting into with the Palette series?
Yeah, so if you're going to sleeve your deck, what I've seen historically is a rainbow of colors. It's Fire Engine red, it's emerald green, and every single company comes out with the basics. This is a black sleeve, this is a blue sleeve. And I don't know, I just, as a designer, maybe it's just a designer thing, I want something a little bit more sophisticated. So we got our design team together and we're like, how could we curate and put together a palette of more sophisticated colors that feel a little bit more like a deviation from the norm? And when you lay them all out together, it's almost like you're looking at paint swatches for a sophisticated, if you're going to design something like a room or something. And so we put the palette series together with that in mind. Everything's mapped, inspired by a hex value, so that we can start to match things later.
That's the part that, sorry,
No,
but the hex value thing is the part that's really exciting to me, because I do get really nerdy about the color of my sleeves when I'm sleeving a deck. I play Flesh and Blood, and I was trying to sleeve this Dash deck, and I wanted this very specific, gold, if you play that game, you know what color I'm looking for. And I ordered multiple different sort of gold or bronze colored sleeves offline, and when they would come, and I know, offline, but what you see on a screen in a photograph, now you have multiple layers of distortion. You have, how was the lighting? What was the camera settings at? Is the ISO high? Did they treat it in Photoshop? And what's your monitor? Do you have a color accurate monitor at home? Probably not, unless you're a designer. And so, anything that you're seeing on your computer screen can't be trusted. And so I'm really excited about the potential future of this, where Curator has this palette series that looks like a Pantone deck, basically, or swatches at the paint store, and you're like, this is the shade of yellow that's perfect for my deck. Obviously, that's not our opening move, because there's only so many colors that we can afford to introduce at once.
Yeah.
But that is the vision for the palette series, is that it really is getting things at the paint store.
Yeah, and I'll touch just real briefly on the fact that we've spent a lot of time engineering these. We know that people, especially competitive players, are really interested in, reducing the glare with the matte, making sure it's super clear on the backside, the quality of how it shuffles and all of that. And I'll even pull this out here, but they're black on the inside instead of some other color like white or whatever.
Yeah, so what you see around the card is black.
Yeah, we spent forever, actually. It just seems like it's been
the back
such
is
a long
matte.
time coming.
The front, though, is clear and glossy. which, like, some of the conversations we've had about this have been very, very detailed and fun. Like, how should it feel in your hand is something that Harrison pointed out the other day. And he's like, the backside needs to be a certain amount of stick to your fingers because of the behavior you're looking for when you're dealing with that side of the card. But you want the front to grip your finger more because you're holding it in such a way where you're trying to look at the information. And there's just like all those little touches.
We did get super nerdy with it.
It's almost embarrassing. Yeah, it is why it took years. Then I know maybe no one cares about this. Honestly, my favorite thing about the whole product line right now is the packaging. Like, as design people, like, this is the most satisfying thing to me, that this box looks so freaking cool, and it has the window and all. Like, obviously that has nothing to do with your experience playing with it, but hopefully it, says something about the amount of thought that went into it.
And you can see the product, not through a little window, but like you can actually see the product and what it actually looks like. So, yeah.
But yeah, they've been through all the, the Reddit challenges of, what's the split test? What happens if you shuffle it 10 zillion times? So we've put in the work on these, and then while we were at it, we put in the work on these oversized mats.
Yeah, it's either a huge play mat. I can't grab it. It's just.
Welcome to hands.
Yeah, or a desk mat. And so this one's by Brittany Bowman, and she's done the first inaugural series of these. And they come in this velvet bag. We talked about how people might be porting these around, and putting them back in the box just didn't make a lot of sense. I have no manual dexterity low. I need to re-roll, but here's another one.
Perfect.
I thought he had better hands than me, but I was wrong. So, yeah, there's 4 of these in the initial series, and
they're very nice. They're stitched around the edge. They're thick. Every time we go to any sort of convention or show or con and walk around and look at all the mats, we basically just spend the whole time either talking trash about them, laughing at them, or, berating ourselves for not doing this sooner.
One of the things that was really important just in the design part of these is that they have a predominant color so that you don't have so much going on in the background that your cards get lost. So that when you play your decks or you lay cards across them, like that one's predominantly got these cool purples and blues, and the other one was predominantly green. So there is some design sense that goes into how they were illustrated, and so that was a collaboration with the illustrator on each one.
What are those?
These?
Yeah, those.
We should go into we made inner sleeves too for you double sleevers, and you know exactly who you are and why. If you don't, that's probably okay. But double sleeves.
If you don't, way to be healthy.
Yeah. Is a thing, and we did not go crazy and go triple sleeving, but we did double sleeving, and for that pristine fit, so that you can protect your cards even more. When you double sleeve, it'll really help protect against the Diet Coke spill on the table or whatever other nonsense happens at your table with your Cheeto fingers or whatever.
Yeah, so this is Curator. It is not Orange Nebula. It is Curator. It is a new line of TCG accessories. We're starting with sleeves and a few of these larger desk mats. Lots of discussion on larger desk size mats versus standard card game mats. Would love to hear thoughts from you guys on which of those you prefer. Do you like both? Do you like the option? Would you never use one? And then I think the other thing that we probably want to switch to now is that one of the things that has been really convicting to us as we've worked on this and all our other projects in the time that we're in is you will notice that the illustration work on this is very high quality, very detailed, and very at the front of the project. And there's a little bit more that we would like to say about that. And so here's something we prepared.
there's like a spring of fresh water inside of me that kind of starts to bubble up, and it becomes this like fountain. And it's just this really deep-seated joy that I have in working and creating. I feel like I'm connecting with something, a truer part of myself. It's something that's been a part of me all along, and just learning to recognize that, especially as you get older and you mature and you kind of develop an identity of your own, and then you look back and realize like art has been there all along. I feel like artists for a long time have always been fighting to have their value noticed and seen and appreciated, especially in today's culture where so many images are so readily available and we're scrolling through them at an incredible pace. I think it's so important to stop and really realize what's behind that. Art is art, it's not content. You know, because it's a personal thing to make art, to create something. It comes out of you.
I think it started in my community college oil painting class. There was a kind of excitement around my work that brought people together in a way that was conducive to people being friends and just having something to laugh or talk about. And that was when I realized this is my contribution to the world.
I definitely started out with traditional media as a little, I started as a little baby toddler scribbling and just haven't stopped. So as a kid, it always just is. And I didn't want to think about what do you want to be when you grow up, because I didn't want to grow up. This is what I want to do. I want to be making these things. You get a little bit older and you start learning craft and you go back to that core. And you never left the core. It has always been the same voice speaking. It's always there and it's always been there.
I think that's why I love art, is because I feel like the truest version of myself in that state of creation where everything is working.
You never stop having those moments, and I think that's part of what I love so much about this job.
Art plays a huge role in how we tell each other our stories and communicate with one another.
It definitely carries across time. We can see things that people have created in eras we can't imagine and find that they are creating images that speak to us just as powerfully now as they did to people probably throughout time.
There's power in a piece of artwork to communicate things that can't be communicated otherwise. And you get the unique perspective of the artist. Every piece of art you're looking at and admiring, you're making a connection with that artist.
The art comes through them and is very much filtered through the lens of their essence and being. Like, you can tell art doesn't just pass through anybody, it passes through this person and their life and their experiences.
They're saying something about what it means to be human, what it means to live their life. All that comes through with artwork. If we look behind that and look and appreciate art for the human creation that it is and for the soul that is in artwork, if we stop and recognize that and appreciate that more as a culture, I think that would bring us together more. You know what I mean? Like, I think humanity as a whole would benefit from us saying, like, look at these people and what they're doing and celebrating that.
I do believe that the story of something being created, at least to me, is the most interesting part. And I want to know the why and the how more than anything, and the who. I think the who is the heart of whatever we consume or enjoy or experience.
If you're wanting what you're making to be powerful and effective, to take out the human artist is detrimental, because you're taking out the soul, the creativity that comes in that creative process, the new ideas.
If you're wanting something that is a bridge to deeper questions or has that kind of deeply personal aspect that is paradoxically more universal, having a human create that gives it that sense of the personal and the universal resonance.
It brings about something that's so much brighter and speaks so much more. It's sad. It's a sad thing to lose that.
The things that speak to us loudly and clearly, and we don't always know why, and that's like an invitation to really look.
And I want to be going around opening people's eyes, like, see, you know what I mean? Like, look, You know, this is humanity.
Something I wish I had done even sooner was show my art to more people and find people that I really trust to give me that second opinion.
I want artists to see this and feel seen and to feel like they're being heard, and I'd love this to take off and for artists to get more recognition and appreciation all around.
Art and art making is not a selfish pursuit, and it's not a waste. It's one of the most raw acts that you can do.
I hope that artists that watch this are encouraged by the fact that, you know, we are here thinking about it and appreciating them.
When you enter the space with this kind of openness to see what is there, if you tap into that extremely vulnerable, extremely open state, then you are really offering a gift to others. If you do it with the open heart and that's what you have to give, then you're given your gift.
To realize that real art, true art, should be appreciated and valued, and that there's so much human soul in it. We shouldn't miss that. We shouldn't, you know, scroll past that or lose sight of that. And so given the opportunity to come here and to talk about this and maybe to bring a little bit more awareness to the people that are behind art, you know, it's so important. Connecting with other people and seeing the person behind the artwork enriches it that much more. I wanted to come and be a part of this because it's important to me. Not just as an artist, it's important to me as a human to see that happen.
Trying to break away from it and then realizing that I couldn't. Those have been the moments where I've really felt like this is who I am, and I don't think it will ever not be a part of me.
So, Art by Artists is just a celebration of human artists.
Yeah, we're honestly not entirely sure what this is going to be, and that feels probably correct. All we know is that we want to celebrate the irreplaceable uniqueness that is human creativity, and the community wants to celebrate that. Everyone that we talk to in our industry wants to celebrate that, in other industries, and it just feels like this culture-wide moment right now that the time, you know, it's the right moment to celebrate that aspect of the human spirit and creativity. And so, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, it's the right time to shine a light on just how unique every single one of these artists is, and it goes beyond, you know, just illustrators to writers and creators and designers and all those things. But we're starting this, we kind of refer to it as a movement, because it's not just Orange Nebula and it's not just Curator brands. It's bigger than that.
Yeah, it's sort of, it's almost like an initiative that we're hoping becomes a movement. You know, you can't make something viral, but you'll notice that on most of the Curator things, and you know, Orange Nebula products in the future, we have this art by artist seal, and I don't think we're quite sure exactly where we're going to go with that seal. Is it going to be just something that we put on our things, or something that we make broadly available to other people? Does a committee form that, you know, doles out the official certification of art by artists? We don't really know yet, and I think that is sort of in the spirit of this as a broader thing, where it's not up to us to control. We're hoping to start something and then just sort of see where it goes. So, you know, we will have a website that talks about this. The video that you just watched will be on YouTube. You can share it with people. You know, if you're an artist, please feel seen, please feel encouraged, please feel appreciated. If you're not an artist, but you know, want to be, like,
yeah,
it's there. You know, you can tap into that part of yourself.
Yeah, art is not a commodity, you know, and we want to honor the artist. And on the back of our products, we even have like the self-portrait of the artist and a little bit about them. And we just think it's important to inspire each other to be more creative and to really value that aspect of the business for us.
Yeah, I think that, you know, art is a human conversation, you know, with yourself, with history, with other people, and So let's have this be a conversation. Let us know what this is. We don't know. We're starting it. Or, you know, we're not even starting it. Like, art is part of what humanity is, but let's celebrate that. And that's what we hope this becomes, whatever it is. So help us figure this out. Yeah. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Here's Lacey.
All right, it is time for my favorite part of every Wormhole event, which is the AMA, which means...
Ask me anything.
Ask me anything. I am excited to get your questions. Lacey J on the couch. I'm going to throw it to you. You're looking good, girl.
You too.
Thank you. Let's go.
Rowdy.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm watching myself on camera. We're fine. We're doing great. Welcome back to the couches. I've got Tom. I've got Mark. Okay, I feel like before we get into real AMA stuff, like the entire art by artist section is so touching. Like a couple of the comments I was reading was people, you know, were doing stuff around their house and had to just stop for a second and really take it in and watch it. And I get goosebumps.
It's been like that every time we watch it in the office too. You know, leading up to these events things are always crazy. The meetings are always 400 things. 5 different side conversations are happening around the room. These people are reviewing this on the TV. These people are talking about something else.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
This is Malia's here.
Sorry.
But anytime that video came on, there was this sort of like sobering hush that fell over the room, and it's like, okay, we're having a moment again. Every time we proof this, we have another moment. Too many moments.
I saw one request on there that they're wanting that video to be a standalone clip that they could, you know, access after this. Is that something that we're planning on doing with that art by artists?
Yeah, we're gonna post that, and I think the title of it is just made by someone, and it is kind of a values statement. I believe personally that every career lesson, every business lesson is ultimately about character, and so yeah, we just want to honor the human artists.
Yeah, we have a really bare bones little landing page web part on our website that's going to have the video embedded and a little bit of explanation of sort of what the initiative is, so that you can share it with anyone who you think might, you know, similarly be touched or inspired. Or
now, what everybody was asking over and over again while we were going through the last segments was, when are things available on the website? So we have now entered the AMA segment, and so you should be able to go to orangenebula.com now and see the products that we brought through the wormhole. Okay.
Yeah, it was all automated through a system called Malia. It runs around like crazy and then shows up late.
And then I do it, and then it doesn't work. And
Is
so
it
then
not? Is it
no,
currently
I
doesn't
got
work?
refreshed.
Oh, good.
But if you refresh, it should be working now. So get over to orangenebula.com, check it out, and let us know what you're finding there and what you're excited about. We have a good 40 minutes or so that we have available to do this AMA section, and we've been gathering questions up until now, and we're monitoring everything in the YouTube questions. And so feel free to send those through. I'll do my best to get through them, and I've got some here that I would like to start with. The most important one, which is coming from Jimmy, and asks, how many worms could a wormhole hold if a wormhole could hold worms?
So
That's a Malia question.
Are they holding holes or worms?
Worms. How many worms could they hold? Answer. Go.
Boy, how
But
gross
I thought
is
that
this?
it was wormholes in a wormhole.
I thought it was
worm.
9.
I think it's 9.
9.
Thank you.
Go with
Moving on.
9.
Second question is.
He's still on it.
I'm sorry to everyone who's going down this one with me. It's pretty dark. What an opening. See? What an opening.
Says
Okay,
Eric. Okay.
42.
I think that's a lot of worms.
Yeah.
Okay.
6, 7.
Oh,
That is the ultimate question.
All right. I'm going to bring it back to.
Anything.
My God.
Yeah.
Let's go to Curator. I always put these questions and I hope for a quick answer, and y'all never give me the quick answer I'm hoping for. I should just stop.
Another decade and you'll get
Agree.
it.
Okay, for Curator. Okay, Curator was a big drop today. Bringing that out of the wormhole took like so much of my strength. Okay.
Wait, so explain the physical experience of bringing something from the wormhole.
So I'm
like,
just
is there a
ignoring that
clenching? Like, how does one pull from the wormhole?
come from your pores?
You see, I take my worms that are within the wormhole and I use my magic to bring them and their power in, and they bring.
So here's my
worms.
question
We're
about
looking for a
worms and
shorter answer than
wormholes.
that.
My God, I can't believe this
Is
what I'm
it
doing
is
with
it
my
like a
life today.
whole bunch of worms in one wormhole, like worms in a bucket,
Also,
or
what
is it a
that question? Because
or is it like a mirror? Is
this.
it like a mirror, infinite mirror situation
I
where there's like a
apologize.
worm into a wormhole, like such, that one movie?
I'm
Snake?
dissociating,
Snake.
and I'm gonna ask a question, and you're gonna answer a question.
By the way, she warned me ahead of time I
Is
can't eat the top
Happy
bagel.
place.
Curator, okay? Let's talk about Curator for a minute because I know that in the package we didn't get through everything that we
Why is
wanted
it so
to.
threatening?
Masterwork series. We didn't talk about Masterwork series a lot during the Curator section, and I want to hear a little bit about the Masterwork series.
Do you mean you
Curator.
want an apology for accidentally skipping over that part of my notes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I skipped over the notes.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, you want to pick up the notes? Tell us
Sure.
about the Masterwork series.
Yeah, so just like that art by artists video that you watched, the Masterwork series is just celebrating art by artists. So they are a series of illustrated sleeves that we were very, I don't know, intentional about selecting images for, and then infuse those with graphic design elements that I think set a new standard for what printed sleeves can be. I see most people when they sleeve their decks, they're using solid sleeves because they don't really like what's on the market. At least that's how I've felt. And
There
so
aren't a lot of
we're
printed
just like,
sleeves
how
that I
could we
like.
do it?
Yeah.
How could we do it?
Yeah, and I like that that we're approaching that series almost like a series of collaborations as opposed to just these sort of like one-off illustrations, like buy an illustration, gobble them all up from ArtStation and here product. This is, it's been more, okay, this artist is now going to do a suite of work for Curator. We're going to do something together with them. You can get multiple pieces of their work. You can get the desk mat. You can get whatever else we're working on. And it becomes, it lets that focus on the artist be more real because they're more present in the overall like product line and series.
Yeah, we in this first initial offering in the Masterwork series, there's 4 artists represented, 3 women, 1 man. It's Ninja Joe from Ukraine. Katerina is her real name. Olga Tereshchenko, Brittany Bowman, and then Sergio Chavez, I think are the 4 that we have represented. And then of course Brittany did all the play mats, those big desk mats. It's all Brittany as well.
They're incredible.
And she was in the video, the art by artist video.
And you also didn't talk much about the graphic design in Curator. Can you hit on that a little bit?
Yeah, it's a tricky topic for me. So graphic design so often can impede instead of simplify. And I think the best graphic design is minimal and it enhances the experience. And so with the series that we have up now, the Masterwork sleeves in particular, there's a little framework, a little geometric framework that goes around the sides. And what's really cool about that element in all of those sleeves is what it does when the cards are fanned out and how they look in the hand. Instead of just slapping on a piece of art and having it full bleed, we were just a little bit more intentional about it for this series. And we may do something different in each series, but it's just, it was just a discussion of what should we do and why should we do it that way.
Well, it's a little proprietary touch that makes a through line for everything. Most printed, most sleeves with illustrations on them are just, here's the illustration. But this kind of binds them all together into a whole body of work. And it also says like, hey, design professionals are here. Like, this isn't just art being pasted on here and printed for you to consume. Like, people have been very intentional with who the illustrators are, what they're illustrating, how it's being presented, the framing on the card, on the sleeve, what color is on the other side, what's clear, what's matte, what's, how's it going to slide on the fingers, like the little, even just the subtle undercurrent of the graphic design elements tells you everything about this has thought put into it.
You can bring it over.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just have a nice visual. Maybe Malia and I can hold these better than Mark and Tom did. I feel like
we're holding all
I feel like we did great. I got a lot of compliments about my holding
well,
Oh, sorry.
of
We're
those.
holding 3 out of 4 and at one time. So
ta-da,
I'm catching it with my leg.
ta-da.
I feel like I did that too.
I'm
We
just
did it
gonna
better.
Yeah, we did.
I
redundantly
caught it with
say
like
it
my whole body. I was committed.
Cute.
or not.
Okay, I'm getting a good amount of cool Unsettled related questions that I want to move to. So, Alimon asks, I'm always curious about what new planet boxes are being planned for Unsettled. What's in the pipeline? Is there anything, any little snippet that we're willing to just like tease a
I'll
little
let Tom take this one. Yeah.
What
I
it
put
was?
this
I
on
think
you.
it was
Yeah,
Alimon who asked if there could be a raccoon planet.
I got really excited about that last night.
I like
I
the
will
raccoon
admit,
idea.
I got way too caught up in that. It was distracting. Thanks a lot. Okay, what can I say? Okay, I'll give you some code names. We've got one that we'll call code name Little Big Planet. We've got one that I'll call code name, well, Frictionless. Um, and one that I'll call code name Fog Machine.
Fun.
That's that. I like what you did there.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you. I think that's enough.
I love an Easter
Yeah.
egg.
I had a quick in between question here as we pulled these out. They wanted to know the thickness of the mats. They're this thick.
Exactly that thick.
I think I put that on the product description.
It's on the product description. You
Didn't
can check it out there.
The exact mills.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've looked at so many freaking text sheets the last week. Do you remember?
Uh-uh.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I know that there was one that was way too thick and it was just bulky, and then there was one that was a lot of them
Sorry.
are just too thin,
I got them.
and we hit the right spot. It's the right thickness.
Yeah,
I believe
that-
is the right answer.
Greg here says an unsettled planet ravaged by AI art. No organic life forms remain. I'm sorry.
I do. Here's a side note on those planets, though. Just big shout out to Reed and AJ, who are kind of an extended part of our team, who have been doing a lot of the development for those.
Mhm. Well, and Kevin and a bunch of other people who are doing like community-led planets or like planets that are gestating into potentially coming official planets. Like
Yep.
lots of people are working on planets, and AI aside, AI does actually give a lot of tools to the community to make play testable community planets.
Yeah.
So since Midjourney and so forth has hit the scene, we've actually been able to see more community design planets that we can test and give feedback on and consider for official bringing in officially. So that's actually been a really cool element of AI, is how much it's empowered the community to make amateur stuff.
And on a side note, thanks to Ken for building all that on Tabletop Simulator too. He's got the 7, 8, and 9, I think, up now. So
Okay,
that right?
great. A couple more unsettled focused questions here. Buddhist Possum, great to have you here.
Heck yeah.
Says, will there be more missions for existing planets for Unsettled in the future or in an upcoming wormhole?
Yep.
Well, and on adjacent to the tabletop simulator, Reed and AJ notified us that. Did you already talk about
No,
this?
but it is here on my list.
He said, "Yep."
That task deeds for planets 1 through 6 are on tabletop simulator currently.
Yes.
So if you play that way, you have more content.
Okay, fabulous. This is about the Luna planet specifically. Was the design, both game and graphic, of the lunar inner space planet any different than the rest of the planets based on the concept? And that's from Get Morris.
Can you read it again?
Yeah, what the Luna planet, was the design of that both mechanically and artistically, was it any different than the other planets because of the fact that it's inside Luna as opposed to
Yeah, I mean,
to a
there
planet?
are certain norms or conceits to the game that don't work when you're inside one of the main characters. So Luna has a lot of mechanisms that are part of the game loop. And when you are inside of her, obviously it doesn't make sense for her to be doing some of the things that she would normally be doing. So the first thing that we had to do was find a way to represent not only Luna's presence in the space, but also not break the game by removing all these mechanics that the entire thing has been, balanced around. And that's one of the most interesting parts of Unsettled is figuring out how much you can bend before you've broken the whole thing. And we've discovered that with a number of designs. Like Little Big Planet is something that we've been working on for a long time. We have a full suite of art for it. Like it was supposed to be out a while ago, and it's just one of those things where we just kept realizing, like, oh nope, that was a load-bearing piece. Shouldn't have touched that. It just keeps not working. So that was an interesting part of the Luna planet was, okay, we have to redesign everything that Luna does in the game. How do we do that? And so it was kind of interesting to look at Luna in her role in the game too, while we were looking at that planet. So it was a whole like Luna Inception thing.
I love that. That
You
was a
weren't
good.
even listening.
Shoot, I got to get a better response for the "I'm not listening, I'm preparing the next question" response. But I'm sure they loved that. That was the answer they were looking for.
I was
You're
intrigued.
welcome, they.
I've been getting some questions about the patch. This is the patch that's included today. They wanted to know for sure if it's just going to show up in their. They don't need to see it in their cart. It's just going to show up, or do they need to add it to their cart?
If the intel I received literally 2 minutes before I sat on the couch is correct, what will happen is when you go to check out, there should be a pop-up, and you can add it to your cart there, and then it should just automatically. But you can also opt out. You don't have to click it if you don't want it. I know there were some people who didn't want the patch last year. Some who cried they didn't get it. Anyway, look for the pop-up.
I also
No crying.
I also saw something earlier about people wanting a vest that they could wear to conventions where they could put all their patches on, all their wormhole patches. So
Oh,
Noted.
they've probably
We'll
seen
put it in
the
the think
artwork.
tank.
okay, now that I'm on the category of merch that people are requesting, we had a huge amount of requests for dark mode for the sweatshirt. The
Like the
zip.
same design but dark.
Yes.
Ooh, Kevin.
What did Kevin say? I only care what
Kevin.
Kevin thinks.
Yeah, what does Kevin say?
Kevin's gonna be down for that. I'll just tell you.
You think
I
Speaking
wonder
for
if
Kevin.
he's listening.
Okay.
That might be sometime in the future.
Last unsettled question before I move on from there right now is from Goody Cags. Goody Cags! First of all, you've been amazing in the comment section today. Thank you. Second of all, will the database of the like really granular planet questions be made available again? And when can we expect the planet FAQ to be up on the website?
Yeah. So the story there is that it's just waiting on me.
Oh, I hate that
Reed
feeling.
has actually taken it upon himself to be like, can I just help you embarrass yourself less? And has it to like 98% done, and it just needs me to basically look at it. I'm apparently incapable of doing that, but I will soon, and then it'll be available.
We've made it available for several of the planets. Just not this one.
Yet.
So you're halfway there.
Soon.
TM.
I want to give a shout out to Teresa. Teresa's heavy in the comments today and texted us during this live stream too. And when we were having that horrifically awkward conversation at the beginning of the wormhole, said, this is what makes me miss O-Neb. So if you were around for Teresa and you know Teresa, big shout out, lots of love to her.
And for anyone who wasn't listening to two streams of us at the same time, over on the TikTok stream, we were talking about how some of the expanded history of the misunderstood design. That original watercolor, Krista's watercolor, was done as part of a book project that was primarily Teresa and I. And everyone was so enamored with that Medusa painting that it just kind of kept coming up as like, yeah, we're not chasing this book yet, but remember this incredible, like
They
we
brought up
have to do
Dragon
something with
Oatmeal. They
this.
just brought up Dragon Oatmeal
Wow,
too.
that's old.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so
Oh, wow, yeah.
that Medusa, started as a watercolor that eventually became a vector thing. It's been through like 4 different projects before reaching its current iteration now. So she's been on a journey of discovery, and hopefully we should dig up that watercolor and post it just as an Easter egg now. And as a spoiler for a future book. But yeah, Teresa, like, misunderstood, crazy. That's like pre-heart surgery. That's way back.
Yeah.
Medusa stuff.
All right, let me clear this bagel. from my mouth.
I feel
for
like
a
I
second.
can hear the cream
You
cheese and
can.
I'm uncomfortable.
What's that called? Mukbang?
hate
Are we
it.
doing a mukbang video right
I
now?
hate it.
Okay, here's
Get that cheese
those
out of here.
What do you call this section when you're teaching people how to host events? What do you call the part where you take a big bite of food and then it
Clear
becomes a
your-
whole
Charm.
it becomes a whole thing?
Charm.
Oh, charisma.
From the Misunderstood series, we have the patch and the sticker. I love this sticker.
Sticker turned out
Yeah.
awesome.
The holographic
Yeah.
nature of the sticker is really
The
cool.
enamel pin, by the way, is top notch if you like pins.
Mark's like, don't forget
That's
about
my
the
favorite.
pin. It is cool.
Okay, I had two great Luna Planet questions. Sandra Basil said, "Can we include a love side quest for Luna with another robot? We need a love side quest
Aw.
for Luna. Isn't that
Oh.
sweet?"
Also noted.
Okay.
What if it's not a robot? Can't she love other things?
Noted.
Dead silence. Apparently not.
Terrifying.
I'm just noting some other things.
Okay.
Doors I didn't realize were open.
I know my brain goes in 100. We need a live lore for that.
Oh, I just wrote it.
Uh-huh. Remember the sinking gear?
It's for Luna's OnlyFans.
She just falls
Yeah.
Over.
This is the enamel pin, the misunderstood enamel pin. The last Luna Planet question I have right here is from Covey Dude that says, "But what happens if we fail? Do we get Luna again in any future gameplay?"
No, your game just stops working.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's really
Honestly,
sad.
though, if you fail and Luna, whatever happens when you fail, do you like come back from that? Do you keep playing that game? Do you like get up the next day and continue going to work? I don't.
Or do you
I
live
feel like I
a
just lay
life full
there.
of shame?
Yeah,
It's just months of therapy
it
after that.
is.
Mhm.
It is.
From-
In addition to the current.
And then you'll never be happy because Luna's the ultimate therapist.
She'll just be therapy about how this therapy isn't as good as my old therapy.
Yeah. And then you're on this like perpetual cycle of bad therapy? Anyway.
This was supposed to be about Luna, not us. Has this really been about us the whole time?
We're just in this Luna's holodeck, and she's been fine the whole time.
So what does Luna really represent?
All right, let's talk about Spiritfire for a second, okay?
So
We had that really awesome section where y'all went kind of behind the scenes for talking about Spiritfire, and some people's favorite part of that was the background, the windows behind you.
Oh,
And
yeah, welcome to the Pacific
Train
Northwest.
going by, and
actually they love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's hilarious because I literally only watched the first like 5 minutes of that and I was like, I wonder if something walks by or does something in the background of this, but I can't sit around and watch the rest of the video.
Yeah, did we have to censor anything or
no, nothing
no?
censored.
some
Oh.
dude with
But
a
they
coffee
liked-
that came by, I think.
They liked the background and they liked
Oh,
the
like the sales bros?
they like the behind the scenes nature of it. So I think we should shoot some more videos in that corner. I
That's
think
cool.
that's a great idea.
We're
that
down.
corner has production quality, production
Okay.
value.
Also, what if we put Easter eggs outside?
There's always
Sorry, I meant like walking by, you know.
Now they know to look for him.
Trialis wants to know, how did having such a large and open design space with realms, personal quests influence the design of Spiritfire?
That's a big one.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
It's a massive undertaking. Is my initial response to that question is, why did you guys go after something so, huge? And I think the dawn of this, I want to say years ago, Tom was like, what if we did a dungeon crawl? Like that was the initial thing. This is not a dungeon crawl. It just kind of morphed into what it is. We're like, what if it was just open world? And what if it was, and it just kind of conceptually in the early stages just became, how do we make it really resonant with people? Like, how do we draw the player closer to the character that the player is role playing as? Was at least how I was thinking about it.
well, and the huge open world nature of it also, like, it is challenging and it forces you to have sort of a degree of like focus and I don't know, fortitude in a way, to stick with finding stories that are interesting, with fighting to make it so that the narratives all weave together, even though making things that you can pursue in any order all weave together work is incredibly hard. And you can see why a lot of open world, video games, for example, you know, dissolve into fetch quests and all these basic step and repeat things that you do over and over and over again. It's because it's wildly hard to write those really good, Witcher 3 side quests that people talk about a decade later, where you want to, consume every piece of the game. And, with this game being basically made up entirely of content like that, it really challenged us, or at least me as a designer, to like, it's the first game we've done where there was an easy sort of like path of least resistance to making a simpler, like more basic thing, and having to say like, no, 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 like we have to do the hard work of making this what we want it to be, or we're going to regret it. And with a lot of the other designs, like everything was small enough that it 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 didn't have any really obvious easy ways to do the simple, like, easy way out version. And this did, just because it's so big.
Yeah, and the fact that we put ourselves in this place where we're like, how do we do this without introducing combat mechanisms? Which I think some people were just like, I don't know how to play a game like that. Like, that was one of the most freeing and probably the most challenging spaces that we put ourselves in, which we like to do. And I think it has opened up so many doorways and opportunities and portals to how you can progress the story and your character without thinking about fighting monsters,
Hmm.
right? It's I don't know. For me, that was such a big freeing space where it was like, wait, we could do anything. Like, and then the game kind of became that, and now we've got it to a really, really sweet spot. Yeah.
Okay, this is a question for Justin out there. Okay.
I turned it off.
You did? Okay. We just got a request if maybe we could get rid of the Orange Nebula graphic at the top right corner because Mark's face is covered in our foreshot.
Oh, maybe I need
And
to.
so
Where do I need to go?
thank
Where
you,
do I? Am I
Justin.
like
After all
right
that
here?
careful measuring
I know,
to
Yeah.
right?
cover his
I'll just
face.
lean in.
Okay. There's there's like an underground patch thing happening right now because there have been some issues as people are checking out that they weren't knowing if they were prompted if they were getting their patch or not. So, we'll figure that out. We'll handle it. You can take a look at the questions a little bit.
Everybody who orders during the wormholes and wants the patch is going to get the patch. Let's put it that way. We'll make sure it happens.
Yeah. So, we'll let you know the best way to make sure that happens if there's any issues. Okay. Um, Spiritfire here. Do we have in the works any uh videos coming out for Spiritfire?
So many. Um, Honestly, video content, if you followed the campaign, it was clear that we really wanted to make video content a big part of this franchise and this game and the experience of learning it and sharing it with people. Um, but what we found was we were trying to embrace that part of the vision at the same time that we were still in development of the mechanics of the game. And video of the quality that we are wanting to make takes so much time, and then we would change the game and it was just, time down the drain. So yes, we have great ambitions for videos for that game. But we have become ruthless with ourselves about not even talking about them um until like the game is in a box and done.
Okay. Um, and then one more Spiritfire question for now. Big Smiles asks if there will be expansions for Spiritfire.
There's most certainly will. So the format concept of Spiritfire is that you have a sort of core box, your character box, um, and then from there are going to be a series of what are called realms, these smaller boxes of content that you explore using your character box. The character box comes with one realm. We have a second realm that is coming out as part of this first wave of content. But then as the game continues, we will release additional realms, which are full open world spaces for you to explore with their own quests and their own storylines and their own way that the realm changes and evolves based on your actions. Um, in addition to that, we will also be releasing more quest packs, personal quest packs, which are quests that your character can pursue in any of the open world realms. So those are 2 packs of cards bundled together. They tell a storyline. You get a bunch of loot depending on how you do the story. So that type of content is coming. There's so much stuff that's coming for Spiritfire.
Yeah, the first realm that comes in the character box is kind of like a super realm too. So it has two purposes. First one is it leads you through the tutorial, and then it turns into a big realm, but it also serves as like the home realm or the hub realm. So you're going to be going to other realms in the similar to like when you play Unsettled, you have a planet box and you can go do that. That's what the realms are, but then you're going to want to be able to kind of come back to your home
Yeah, it's
realm,
kind of
which is
like
here.
imagine if you're playing Unsettled and there is also a hub world that is inside the Scarab, and you go there between sessions and you can change your version of the Scarab, and I have this engineering bay and you have a different engineering bay. I feel like this is maybe spiraling away from people's ability to follow, but like the hub world in Spiritfire does customize over time to the things that you do. All the realms do, but that one in particular um is considered to be sort of like central to your character. And so for NPCs that you unlock, a lot of them will live in your hub world, things like that.
Okay, we just got two more quick Spiritfire questions before we move on. One is, did I hear about a Spiritfire art book, or was that wishful thinking from Musings of a Muse?
I thought you probably heard about it. There's nothing officially in the works yet as far as the Spiritfire art book. Um, there is a lore book as part of the Vestige line that's coming out.
Mhm.
But nothing yet for Spiritfire, though
Okay.
obviously Spiritfire is gorgeous, and we'd be fools to not explore some sort of option there.
hmm And then Keto wants to know, does the new layout with zoom function of map change the size of the playmats, or is it just a rearranging of space?
It's just a rearranging of space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I want to talk about Thonks. Okay, Jared, what the heck with that Thonks video?
Justin is a genius writer, and I am a tool of his.
Genius documentary missed.
I got sent that video by Malia as a secret, hey, check this out. And I went, we have no business having something this good. That's how I felt about that.
Well, we had a lot of fun making it, so thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Special effects, and I know your voices are good.
Those were very expensive special effects way.
And the voices, I charge so much for the voices.
Some of it's ILM. It's pretty over the top.
So campy, funny. I loved it.
Keto wants to know if the Thonks come with popsicle sticks.
No, but popsicle sticks are surprisingly cheap if you haven't looked into that market. So
Fair.
And
Don't get them at Winco though. They're weirdly small.
are they?
Yeah.
Is that true?
I did that last week. They're these like tiny ones.
What do you need that for?
I don't know.
Mini pop, a 1-bite
Yeah.
popsicle?
But what's great is if you have some sort of adhesive solution that you're using to adhere the thongs to the popsicle sticks, you can utilize those to like daisy chain together multiple popsicle sticks like we had to do to get them out of frame for some of those
I like
shots.
the idea of coming up with a little like kit of like random accessories you would use to make a Thonks video, like
nice.
sticks and glue
Oh,
dots
stop.
and
That's that clear string. What was
yeah,
that?
like
fishing
I think
line?
it's just fishing line. Yeah.
We've talked about
It was
having
Thonks branded. Puppeteer
Thonks
line.
brand puppeteer line.
Line.
some type of a giveaway associated with a community. If you want to put a Thonks video together and submit it, we would.
If you
we
guys
would look at
fan
that.
this fire at all, do you see what we're frickin' doing over here with these things?
We'll
Like,
do more.
If anyone gives any attention to this, it will become the only frickin' thing we do, other than, of course, spend every minute finishing Spiritfire. But when we're not doing that,
So,
Thonks.
this is your thonk kit. Okay? Oh my god, this is too good.
Creaky Rogue, Pompous Bard, Unwatched Druid, and then we've got the Stone Thragon. I think we're gonna do something about like
I want
who
to see
should be
community
next,
content.
right?
Yeah.
Community
What
content.
class
I
I'm
want to
gonna
see community
die.
content.
should we make next?
Yeah, I'm gonna die. So, what is the next grouping of thonks? What's it gonna be?
It's a great question.
That's a
I feel
very
like
great question.
the community
Sound
will
off.
have
It's a
to.
community has a voice,
Mhm.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, Jared, can you please talk to me just for a minute about how that video went from idea to actually? How did you get them to let you do it?
Well, like I said, it was a collaborative process with a team. We had Simeon there helping with all of the. He was director of photography, and Justin was there as general director, and also he wrote the script. And so I was chomping at the bit the second that I read the first draft, and was so excited to get my thonking butt into that recording studio and start working on the lines. And it was a very enjoyable process.
Do you have a favorite scene from it? A favorite moment?
Probably the bit where the thonks like run/slide down my lamp and then jump, because it took us like a bunch of takes to get that to look right and not just absolute chaos like they were tumbling down. So yeah.
In case you were wondering, my favorite part was when the entire army came.
Yes.
When you had all those figures.
Mhm. That's my personal collection of D&D miniatures.
Did you have to like?
They were on like a transparency sheet from like old school like
And how did they
projectors.
not
Mhm.
fall over?
Well, one of them did,
Yeah.
and there is a Wilhelm scream when that happens
Okay.
in the sequence. But we just essentially, didn't overcome their weight and only pulled them as hard as we could so that they wouldn't fall over. I mean,
My
So good.
my favorite bit is the clink that the druid makes on the glass cup. Just because that's the type of thing that like isn't in the script, it wasn't part of any conversation, it wasn't in the vision in our head, it just was like found in the moment,
Yeah.
whether either when filming or when editing. Um, so it surprised me, and that was really fun. That was probably my favorite bit.
I'll say something that was really surprising and fun for me was seeing the final edit and seeing all of the different vocal line takes stitched together, because I recorded each character separately as opposed to going back and forth. And so it was very fun to see the pace that was edited together, all those takes.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I'm dying to know though, what other, you know, tabletop role-playing game class agnostic type characters, system agnostic type characters would you like to see? What outside of that space would you like to see? Would you like to see other thonks in other IPs that you like? Like, if this was Funko, but this is ours, what would we do? Um, that's kind of that's the energy we're wanting to bring to this, but built around community and fun, silly, ridiculous, content inspired by our
That's what you
nostalgia.
want.
Yeah.
My eyes just got big because the first one I saw from Keto said a collection of O-Neb thonks, and I was like, Lacey J thonk? Stop. How could I even go on with my life if there was a
It's
Lacey
just
J
like
thonk?
You'd be
four
immortal.
lacy thonks.
She just
Just
has a
different
mic in her
names
hand,
and
I might actually die if
frost
my
rolls.
throat is closing up as we speak.
Would you be a big bad? Big
No.
bad too, Lacey.
No, unless
Lacey
I
J.
also could have accessories if I was a big size, because then I could have snack accessories around me. But Grendelai also said, why isn't there a Thonks board game then?
Well, because you guys aren't buying these pieces yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not worth our time yet.
And once we say that here's the rules of the game, then it's automatically worse than the game that you could create with your own mind and creativity. So what about that?
Uh-huh. Okay, misunderstood Thonks.
That's fun.
Chopbot Thonks.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. Look at Discord, Lacey. Oh God, what's there? AJ just said, "Look at Discord, Lacey."
There's too much.
Oh God,
I have
I'm afraid
never
to look.
The number of times look at Discord has been good news is low.
And now, special report, Malia with a patch update.
Coming in live.
Just kidding.
As if
It
we
was
were.
half. It was halfway.
We're already alive, but we're live. Also, I feel like I need to have that fan on me.
You need the air.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, I lied about the pop-up. I didn't lie. I was
Who made that?
misinformed. So you have to, if any new orders, we need any new orders, you will have to add the patch manually, but it should be free at checkout. If you've already placed an order, Amber is currently at this very moment manually adding the patch to your order presently. If you're concerned, email ground control, but Amber's got it.
And thanks, AJ, for putting together some thonks for us.
Oh my god. I'm a thong.
Oh, isn't it fun?
Always been a thong.
For my
Always
mom
been a
was
thonk to us.
be a thong. It was a dream I didn't even know I had,
Oh, it's too good.
but it's a dream come true.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Um,
People are gonna stuff you in stockings and stuff.
oh, this is
Oh,
so
sure.
Put
Finally.
you in a junk drawer. We're gonna put you in a
Can someone
plant.
turn their thonks into ornaments?
Oh,
I put thongs on my Christmas tree
ornaments.
last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
A thornament.
And you could
Thunkament.
put a little
Thunkament.
D20 thonks.
cute.
I don't. I just continue to reject D20 on principle. I'm sorry, everyone.
What did it do to you?
It was just so.
You wished for 21.
I don't know.
All right, we got 5 minutes left, okay? So, first off, I want to thank everybody for having conversations about bagels earlier, because when you were having bagel conversations, I looked over at Johnny, who's back there doing video, and I was like, "We need bagels." He's like, "I'll be back." And literally went
And like
and
the
picked us
Terminator,
up
he did.
bagels, okay? And I'm the only one
In
that's
record
been
time,
eating
by
on
the
them over
way.
here.
Did you have to tell everyone to get out of your way?
Yeah, I pushed some old ladies.
Yeah, old ladies were harmed in the getting of these bagels.
Oh, thank
When-
goodness.
Fantastic. They always
You
taste
will
better
be
that way.
judged harshly.
Yeah.
When we were talking earlier about Spiritfire and talking about the raccoons and squirrels in Spiritfire, somebody re-brought up the idea of pinecone jam,
It was like a year ago.
which we've had sitting in the office for about 8 months, and I think it's time for Tom to try the pinecone jam as I finish up
Just
the
tell
questions.
everybody too that
That's what's gonna
almost
happen.
I would argue
Can you help me?
probably every time Lacey's in the office, she's like, pinecone jam that nobody's open. Why isn't anybody eating the pinecone jam?
Well,
Is
the
it
thing is, I
possible-
probably would have by now, except so much
Grab
attention
that.
had been drawn to it not being open
It'll be
Well,
fine.
and
that,
also
like,
a jam when you don't have a
became
vessel.
loaded.
I need a vessel, and we often don't have vessels, so it's
That's
just
true.
a
We
jar.
don't have Johnny usually.
Oh,
ASMR.
To
do you want?
ASMR some old ladies bagels into our mouths.
I'm the vessel guy.
You are
No,
the
there
vessel
wasn't
guy.
a satisfying pop.
Not
That
at
makes me
all. That was so
stressed.
sad.
That stresses me out.
Oh, you have a knife.
All right,
Here.
so I'm gonna have him eat that on camera while
We're
we're
gonna get censored for a butter knife.
finishing up our questions.
So do I
okay?
eat the pine cones?
Yes.
You do?
Uh-huh. They're soft. I've eaten them before. You're not the only one. I'll happily
Does
take a
it
bite
make
as
you-
well
Well, I'm
if
sure
you
I'm
would
not
like.
the first person to crack one of these jars, but
Does it make your throat?
I am the most afraid person.
No, it doesn't make your throat scratchy. Okay. Just one good bite with the pine cone.
I
You're
don't want a
gonna
vessel. I just want to raw dog a pine cone.
Okay. There he goes. How do you like it?
It's really good.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
You don't
well,
mind it?
Now I'm about to
No,
take
I'm a
bite.
fan of that. That's
See?
fine.
Okay, pine cone jam. Been waiting for this moment
Yo,
for like a year.
that's good.
History, man.
you.
Bring us some
Thank you.
spoons.
Okay, please move the mic away from the eating noises. I'm
Sorry.
heard. Okay, listen. All right.
You guys didn't complain when Lacey
horrified.
had her cream cheese mouth, but you complain when Jared has pine cone.
There's a difference
mouth?
between
It was
Lacey
Kevin.
and
Oh, our Kevin?
Yes, it was our Kevin.
He
Mhm.
would.
Okay, I'm gonna give 2 more questions and then we're gonna close out. Okay, I know we only have like 3 minutes, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
You live your life.
It's one of the
So-
best
sister.
jams I've had.
Good.
That was so good.
Okay.
She imported it herself.
One
define herself.
question is going to be Vestige related. Okay. Once Vestige delivers to backers, are there plans for a second Game Found Vestige campaign with more nemesis?
Nemesis.
Nemesis.
We haven't really talked about that.
Yeah, I mean, we have designs going for additional Nemesi, we do not have any sort of timeline on the calendar for another campaign. To be perfectly honest with you, we're not going to put anything on the calendar until we have delivered Vestige and Spiritfire. Doesn't mean we're not dreaming about those things. And will that happen? Probably, of course. But it's not on the books yet.
Okay.
You like that? Of course.
Mark,
Put it
you
on the
come
fake,
in too.
the
Come
fake
here.
books.
Come cuddle in.
I couldn't be.
As we're getting ready to close, come cuddle in. Here, can you take this?
Yeah.
Okay, last question. is just going to be creativity based, and I'm serious. Just give me a quick answer. I really mean it. Okay. Grant asks, what do you do to stay creative and keep the juices flowing when you're burnt out or jammed up? Okay.
Go outside. Go outside and walk in nature.
Me, sleep, rest.
Tap desperation. Real answer, go outside.
Creative inspiration outside of your industry.
Okay, I like it. Thank you. That's the best job y'all have ever
Look
done.
at water.
Probably because
Real
I-
water.
Look at still water.
Outside water.
Comes suffused in the ionized air.
Inside water, not as good.
Okay, great job. Y'all did a great job with sending in questions and whatnot too. This was really fun. This is like my favorite day in so much of the year. I sweat a lot. I feel a little clammy and sweaty.
You were brought bagels.
I was brought bagels. Somebody made thonks of me. Anyway, thanks for coming to the wormhole.
Well, why don't you want to go back over to your spot of
power?
Your liminal space.
Your throne.
I'm gonna go back to my throne
I don't
of
think
power.
we
So
have.
we can close out. We can't close the wormhole.
No, I don't think any of it
unless
works
I'm
over
in the
here.
throne of power.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all so much. This opening event may be over, but the wormhole has just begun. Over the next 2 weeks, check out all the new and limited stuff on orangenebula.com and keep hanging out with us on Discord and our social spaces. We're forever grateful for you. We'll see you soon.